Alright, so we got the carpets for the Land Cruiser. So I found these online, and apparently these are the only guys making the carpets for Land Cruisers. So, looks like you get all the padding with it too, which is good. I didn't think you did. Alright. Kind of dark in here. Yeah. It's even got all the foot pedal stuff. Alright. Gonna make the upholstery guy happy. Alright. So that was a shitload of fishing, but yeah, we got it. Here we go. I could do this all again too, so that's what really sucks. Alright. Okay, so we're back to paint it, finally. And I gotta tell you, I like it more this way around. So it definitely fixed all the mismatch on colors and everything. So now let's put it all back together again. I like it. Apparently you gotta be smarter than a freaking light. Really? There's only two ways this can go on, for fuck's sake. Gotta go that way. Hi. Come out wherever you are. Neighbor's up. Somebody had done an LED conversion on these lights at some stage. Except for the I don't know, turn signal and the running light, but brake lights are LED. Who knows? Access. I'll just drop that right there. bitching now before I even start. Well, that's a horrible fucking thing to put on. Way under there, ain't it? Yep. Oh, you're in a nice easy spot to get at.
Yeah, that one was a bitch to get out of there.
Yeah, I'm gonna need like a massive extension for that. Huh. That was easy. They said, oh, we have no idea how that could happen. We don't know that couldn't happen. And then after like 3 emails, they were like,
You know, it's always hard to figure out how they commit suicide and shoot themselves 3 times, you know?
man, this is looking awfully yellow in the camera, but it's not. I still got to bolt that wheel in. It's just sitting on there right now. Alright, still got some wiring and stuff to do, but we're getting there. Start wiring it. It goes to upholstery Monday, I hope. Alright, so we got 510 watts of light up there. Man, this windshield needs cleaned. I'm waiting on that wiper to dry. Oh, this is good. So I did the 2 fuel tanks on this. I used the fuel tank from a Chevy Blazer for the rear tank, and the front tank's a stock one. And this here's the opening, the access to the pump and all that, which is kind of nice and convenient. So here's where I'm at with this double fuel tank thing. So I got these transfer switches, and turns out they're low pressure. So I did some hunting around, and I mean, I spent days looking for this. And the majority of the transfer switches that are out there are for like diesels with dual tanks and stuff like that. And with diesels, you have like a low pressure pump that pumps it up to the high pressure pump, boosts the pressure there. So most of the switches that are out there were for like 8 to 10 psi, and this is injected, it's gas, and it's around 48 psi. So the only one I could find that was high enough pressure was this Pollock switch, and after I looked into this Pollock switch, I found that there is massive amounts of failure in this switch. And I don't know what the percentage is, but a lot of complaints about how often this high pressure switch failed. So with that, and we've got to be as simplistic as possible with this thing. It's going to be in the middle of God knows where, and you don't want to have that switch fail and be stranded. So what I decided the simplest way to do it is, rather than run the 2 sets of fuel lines up to the engine and run this split switch, I'm going to simply pump from the back tank into the front tank. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get like a switch relay, and we'll put a switch in. You'll hit the switch and it'll run for say a minute, which should pump 3 or 4 gallons in. You know, and then you just transfer from the back tank to the front tank. That's the simplest way I can do it, and hopefully that gives us the least amount of trouble. So I'm going to put like a check valve in the return line. I'll connect the rear tank to the return line, put a check valve in so we can't just bleed back into the other one, and we'll go from there. Alright, so here's our feed line, here's our return. So we're just going to tie into this one here, and then we'll have to run the line back up to the other tank. But that's about as simplistic as I can make this. Nothing like making your life easy. Somebody rewired it, and apparently they like blue. That's gonna make my job so fucking easy. Power to the radio. So now we got these 2 wires here. Okay, that one has no power. That one has no power. So I have no idea what those 2 wires are. Okay, that's the accessories. Yeah, turn that. That's the accessory?
Yeah.
Okay, neither one of those 2 get power, so I have no idea. So I had an issue here with this window mechanism getting in the way of the speaker. So I had upholstery guy make me a couple of rings, and then we'll just space the speaker out a little bit, and that will solve the whole problem. These doors need to be opened more. Pain in the ass. Alright, that looks good. Alright, so this center console had been hatcheted on. So this is one of the panels from the back that we're not using, so I'm going to cut a section out of that and then weld it back in to fill in the hole. Alright, so this piece of the center console had been hatcheted on. So I took, I'm going to beat the place up. I took one of the old panels from the back, cut out a filler piece. So we're going to weld that in there with the soldering iron. Actually works pretty well. Alright. So, make this just a little bit bigger. I'm going to have to weld that brake back together, and then I'm going to just basically tack it together, I guess is the way to word it, while it's in place, so it's the right size to stay there. And then all you got to do is just melt it all back together. And the only way to do this is just experiment. Alright. The nice part is because of the same plastics, they melt real easy and stick well. There you go, about 15 minutes from start to finish. And it doesn't look like a hatcheted piece now. I still got it. Let's see if I can do something with these holes. It might be a little harder to do that without screwing up the texture, but we'll see what we can do. So this switch has been a pain in my ass. This is a hazard light switch, and somebody had put it in here and hooked it up to a light bar at one stage. And I didn't realize that the actual true hazard light switch is way the hell over there. So when I found it, all the wiring had been cut. So I ended up tearing the dash apart trying to find the remnants of a wiring harness that didn't exist. So yeah, that was a pain in the butt. So anyway, what I'm going to use this for, we've got the second tank, and what we've got is we've got an electric fuel pump, and we're going to excuse me, pump from one tank to the other. I'm not using a switching valve, and that's a whole nother story. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run the power into this, from that to a relay, and that will turn on, it's actually a timer relay, but it'll run the pump and everything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run from power to this to the relay so I can bump the power up, because this doesn't have a real big cable in it. So it's kind of a pain in the ass way of doing things, but at least this way it looks clean and it looks like it actually belongs there. So this inverter has to sit in here upside down, which of course means that all electricity will be running backwards. But that's alright, because once it gets to Australia, it'll be running the right direction. But seriously, the reason the inverter is upside down is just simply the plugs are on this end, and if I put them on up the right way, you wouldn't be able to plug anything in. So you're only ever going to undo the cables once in a great while. So the solution is simply put it in upside down so the cables are facing the right way. Oh man, this thing's starting to get heavy. Alright, so there we go. We got our inverter, and we got our switch for all the batteries. This great big cable goes up to the two batteries under the hood. There's going to be a third battery in here. And then what you'll be able to do is solar power. We charging the battery, as well as being able to select which way you want it. So you can throw it this way, and as it's running, charge it off the engine, or you can throw it that way and it'll run off the charge controller. That way you can run it on both at the same time, whatever you want to do. And now I got to worry about where to put the charge controller. Alright, so we got the A-pillar piece back from the upholsterer. So we'll see what this all looks like put together. It's actually going to sit that way. I don't know how well this is going to turn out because I'm filming under the sun. Alright, there we go. after ages and ages and ages and ages of freaking delays, it's off to upholstery today. About time. Alright, so as you can see, the shop is finally empty. Land Cruiser's at upholstery. Let's clean this place up and go back to the low-back truck. Yay! Alright, so I've got this Land Cruiser Overlander thing done. It's Lexus, it's not a Toyota. It's the same damn thing, but whatever. So anyway, I made some videos in the beginning. You know, nobody watches them, so what the hell, is pointless filming it. So I just figured I'd film the finished thing and then put that up. If you want to see it, you want to see it, and yeah, whatever. So anyway, this thing took a little while. Upholstery guy sadly died halfway through doing the upholstery on it, so it took a little bit to get that done. But anyway, I'll show you what we got, and we'll go from there. Alright, so the roof lifts up. It's on a great big hinge up there, and there's a couple 200-pound struts. And I filled in this quarter panel and sunk the spare wheel up in there, and there's no room for the spare wheel because where the wheel would have been underneath, which these wouldn't go anyway, I put an extra fuel tank. So it's got another fuel tank in there. This is actually a fuel door off of a Chevy van, which happens to be a good match size-wise for that. So on the inside, we've got a water tank, a bunch of LED lights, and then there's a pump here somewhere. Where are we at? That's a pump for the water up to the sink. There's a fridge. And so there's a seat here. There's another spare solar panel behind this, inside the back of the seat here. These here go up in this area here so that you can climb up on the top and sleep up there. So there's a battery underneath here. There's a 3,000 watt inverter here, back of the fridge. And then up on the roof, there's a solar panel up on there. So there's like 400 watts of solar power with this thing. And so the LED light here, that's 1100 watt. And then these ones here are 400 and something watts. So this thing's bright as hell. So all the body work, all the rust was cut out. Hundreds of holes filled in the damn thing. There was like 80 something holes. And then it was not rhino lined, but whatever the hell that stuff is. Same stuff as rhino lining, and then painted. And then of course all the upholstery's done. Seats were reupholstered. Everything was redone. And then we got a cabinet here. There's drawers in here. It's hooked up in here, kind of thing. Bunch of cabinet space. And then there's a countertop and a sink. And of course there's the back of the wheel well thing. All the lights up here. And then there's some storage space up there. I made all these bumpers here. Front and rear bumper I made. And so then there's two batteries on the switch, and then you can run 3 batteries through the inverter, so it gives you a long time of having. the roof is held down by these over center latches that go up, hook onto the roof up there. I'll close it so you can see what it does. It's pretty easy to open. Got a pair of 200-pound struts on it. And there's another set of lights up here, so that light. And of course there's some extra lights that are for lighting up the area right here.